Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of In the Driver's Seat. Today, I have a special guest with me. He is a production team member and a designer, even a social media manager for Johnson Leathers. Vince, thank you for stopping by today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, Vince. So, we recently met and you told me pretty much what you do. I had no idea you were a part of Johnson Leathers until you told me. And I was like, wow, he does a lot from what I've seen on the page. So, what first sparked your interest in clothing and design? Do you remember that first moment?
Um, I would say in college I really got into fashion. Obviously, pipeline from sneakers. I feel like sneakers were a lot of gateways for a lot of people um, into fashion. Specifically, I remember in college, I had a friend who taught me how to tailor, like very roughly, and so I stole my Filipino club's sewing machine and I just hogged it and would sew on my own time. And I made this cropped hoodie, and I was like, "Oh man, I really like how it fits me." The fact that I was able to adjust it to my personal style, my personal liking, um, it made it really unique. And so that's kind of where my design and love for customization of clothing started.
So I noticed how you mentioned it was more so later in your life, right?
Right.
Like in before that though, were you always drawn to creative pursuits, or like you said, did that passion develop later in college?
Um, I was always kind of okay, got it. Okay. So I never played by the book, I would say. Even when I was young, I would get different sets of Bionicles and Legos and stuff, and I would just create a Frankenstein thing. I would do stuff off script all the time. And so I feel like there's something in my brain that forces me to okay, I want to dissect this and put this together and make my own thing, something like I said off the book. Yeah.
That is because I love Bionicles. I feel like they're
Right.
super underrated. They're
Yeah,
super
yeah,
underrated.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's
I think
great.
Legos have taken over for sure.
Legos have taken over. I wonder if they're ever gonna bring Bionicles back, especially the container too. The whole process of it
Oh
was
man.
crazy for the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Why are we geeking out about Legos and Bionicles right now? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty nostalgic, bro.
Dude, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
when I
is.
moved out, I there was a lot of belongings that I left at home,
Yeah.
and my Bionicle sets were still intact, and I'm like, I don't want to clutter anything. I just want to, fresh start. But
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Growing up, did you have any mentors or role models who inspired your journey, between just growing up or leatherworking? Did you have any mentors like that?
I didn't have any mentors, more so people that I looked up to.
Yeah.
Um, I feel that for many people, Kanye West and ASAP Rocky were inspirations, and I definitely looked up to them in terms of fashion and culture. So yeah, I didn't really have any mentors. I just it was a lot of self-taught.
Self-taught, yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so as far as your journey before working with leather, were there any areas of design that you were maybe interested in before that? Or was it just straight like leather? I'm going with that.
Uh, I think going back to just me altering my own pieces with that sewing machine in
Yeah.
college, I guess you could call that design. I had a vision. I wanted a cropped hoodie, or I wanted my pants to fit like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in the very early stages, that was what sparked the design.
Yeah.
Um, Before Johnson Leathers, I had no experience,
No
no formal
experience.
experience with leather, sewing, anything like that. It was
Was
just,
was it one of those moments where you just had to jump in and learn on the spot type thing, or
yeah, learn on the spot because there was a need to. I felt that I wanted my stuff to fit this way, and
yeah.
that was the only way to approach it.
Yeah. Does clothing mean anything to you, like personally, like self-expression, like storytelling, or anything? Do you feel like you're able to tell a story through your clothing?
I think you nailed it pretty much. I would say to add on to that, clothing it's more than just self-expression. It's how you would like to be perceived too. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's really.
yeah.
It's like showcasing who you are almost,
Exactly,
So it's
exactly.
another way of just self-expression, telling people what you're like without saying anything, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's cool. That's cool. So with Johnson Leathers, can you maybe share the first story of the first piece you designed for them?
Mm. So my first jacket that I designed was um, inspired by a German U-boat jacket.
Hmm.
Actually, unknowingly inspired.
Yeah.
I designed this piece, and then my friend was like, "Yo, this looks like exactly like this German U-boat leather jacket. It's cropped, it's really boxy." And I'm like, "No," because it's my first piece that I designed, right? And I didn't want to be unoriginal.
Yeah.
But through time, you learn that you can never be original. You're always drawing inspiration from
Oh,
stuff here and there,
100%.
right? So the jacket, it was made out of a distressed lambskin. It had Cobrak snaps. It had a Japanese cotton lining. Did I mention? Okay, I mentioned that it fit boxy and cropped. Uh, I remember when I was sampling it, um, I was I took a trip down to LA around that time, and I met up with, I don't know if you know Nick and R Wong.
Hmm.
Nick goes by Edward Scissorhands. Yeah. Yeah, but they're yeah, I met up with them before they blew up, and they gave me really good criticisms, and they really spotlighted me on their social medias, and that kind of pushed me to market that jacket even harder. It was the first collection I ever did, and it sold out,
Yeah.
and so I just have all those feelings rushing, through me inside my head, and I'm like, it's been a long journey.
How'd you even get involved with them? Like Johnson Leathers? Like, how'd you even get that connect?
Um, Funny enough, my girl, we were shopping on Polk Street, so
Yeah.
that's where Johnson Leathers is, and she was like, "Oh, like I remember that you wanted a leather jacket." I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay, well, down the street from this thrift store is this leather jacket spot." And so we checked it out. I found a jacket that I really, really liked, and I tried it on, and it fit a little too perfect. Like, I couldn't really move my arms. Felt like, like just standing. It looked like spot on.
Yeah.
And so, like, you know what? It's a little pricey. I'm gonna come back and think about it. So I come back the next week, and my boss, the owner, Damon, he recognized me, and I was just like really deliberating. I'm like, dude, should I like, this? He comes out. He's like, let me show you something. He comes out with a leather jacket. It was a Type 2, so it got the pleats and everything. And he said that it was a sample jacket, and I was like, whoa, blown away. It fit me perfectly. And after purchasing that jacket, we had a really good conversation about, the history of Johnson Leathers, the legacy, and I also noticed that he didn't really have anybody to help him out. He was
Yeah.
the only one running back and forth, checking in on me, going back to do his like, I don't know what project he was working on, but just seeing him like running back and forth, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of transitioning out of my previous career, and I, you know, want to join the team, and that's
Wow.
pretty much how it started.
Well, I mean, obviously, you're doing a lot of work from what you told me. So, like, between being the social media manager to the production, design, sales rep, how do you juggle those responsibilities?
um, I think it's best to explain this if I just paint a picture of my day to day.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And so when I get in the shop, we open at 10. When there's no customers around, I'm usually working on either designing, either production, stuff like that, just behind the scenes of the workshop. And then obviously when customers come in, it's like, oh, I gotta drop everything,
Yeah, yeah,
meet them, see what's up. Um, and so a lot of the times I get to do that stuff on the clock. And so like if it's dead, I'll go downstairs to our like little photo shoot area and just like snap a couple pictures of our jackets, whatever,
yeah, yeah.
tease some upcoming design. Um, I have a lot of freedom with the social media as
Dope.
well. I post on the clock and like off the clock too. I'll just like randomly see something, and like it'll inspire me to like, okay, we need to start like pushing out more product and like marketing stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, it's just it doesn't really seem like that much. I do wear a lot of hats
Yeah,
now, that I'm
we're
talking
talking
about
about
it.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
But it doesn't seem like much.
yeah,
It's just fun,
yeah.
and I enjoy
You don't have the ability to post like brain rot on
No,
the.
I think, like, I think with our Johnson Leathers demographic, it's kind of hard to add my own personal, like meme and like taste, So I kind of have to keep it a little bit
Yeah,
professional.
for sure.
Um, yeah, yeah,
So with that, I like how you said you're the customers and that have to keep that professionalism,
right.
and that also comes with Johnson Leathers having a rich history. It's been here for a long time, man. And how do you balance like preserving the brand's legacy while like modernizing it and trying to like I guess improve it? I guess I would say like how do you balance that from keeping it original but trying new things?
That is a good question. Uh, so I feel like just from a design aspect, I try not to stray too far from the jackets that we have already made. So, example, like a trucker jacket, the motorcycle style jackets. Um, I try to keep it as close to that original design as possible,
Yeah,
just by tweaking some stuff here and there. I really like. I've learned that I should definitely just pay respects to the demographic and also
yeah,
the heritage,
hmm,
just because like, I wanna best represent, Johnson Leathers, and
yeah,
I feel like to do so through with my own style, I gotta just, like, limit my, creativeness, I guess, and try not to go too
not
crazy.
too crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's been like the most challenging project you worked on so far?
Most challenging project. I would say, the jacket that I'm wearing right now. It's a leather bomber jacket, and there's a lot of uh, like calculations and stuff like that go into pattern work because pattern working is literally like you have a template and to alter stuff you got to change for example if you want to change like the arm width you got to change like the armhole here and then like change the sleeve and like it's just like so much stuff that you got to fit it's like a puzzle almost
Yeah, yeah,
and so it's not so much like calculating numbers and stuff like that. It's more like fitting stuff into other stuff.
yeah. Um, I know that like we're like in a very, very fast-paced industry when
Mhm.
it comes to fashion and clothing right now. I guess like what I'm trying to say here is how does like the craftsmanship that you do, and for Johnson Leathers in general, like how does that stand out in the world of fast-paced industries?
I think leather jackets are timeless, and so nothing's gonna beat timelessness.
Mhm.
So timelessness plus our craftsmanship, it's dude. One of our jackets is probably gonna outlast someone's lifetime,
Yeah,
and so obviously leather jackets have withstood the test of time. Uh, we've been open for like 40 years, and we're here to stay for sure.
yeah, yeah.
Um, there's no competition when it comes to fast fashion. Zara, H&M, they can come out with their own. They can come out with their own leather jackets and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But people always, who are always in the market for actual leather jackets, they come to us. They're like
Yeah,
that faux leather stuff isn't cutting it. You got to come to
yeah,
Johnson
yeah,
Leathers for an
yeah,
actual leather
for
jacket. You
sure.
know what
You
I'm
hear
saying?
that? Coming
Real
to
leather, come on. It's an investment.
literally, yeah,
Yeah.
literally. So besides everything you do, you also notice some marketing between the Haven Court and Johnson Leathers collaboration, and you told me that you made that happen.
Mm.
Um, so how did that collaboration even come about? And what was like your role in organizing it?
Right, right. Mind if I sip some water real
Yeah,
quick?
yeah, feel
Alright,
free, man.
sure. I feel like it's a pretty long answer I'm gonna give, but I was pretty much the catalyst of the whole
Hmm,
collaboration.
hmm.
I was the one who hit Keezy up to even get the ball rolling,
Yeah,
and it was just me shooting my shot. I was less than 6 months Johnson Leathers, and I had seen that he was teasing a leather jacket at the time, and so I was like, you know what? I think we can do better, bro. Like, you want to come through, check us out,
yeah,
you see what we're about. Haven Court being such a Bay Area like staple, um, uh, it just seemed like almost harmonious that a brand like Johnson Leathers. and San Francisco-based brand would collaborate with Haven Court.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that's pretty much how I got the ball rolling. And there was a lot of like, I guess, nuances and stuff that I learned through our collaboration.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's just to sum it up,
Well,
I guess.
you're already leading to the next question for me.
Okay.
What were some things that you personally took away from it? Like, what were some things that you learned?
Things like production time and just I had to practice a lot of patience, I feel like,
Yeah.
especially because things couldn't go according to like my own clock.
Yeah.
I had to there was like a lot of factors like, okay, my production staff, okay, we have to work on Johnson like our own goods first. Cheesy has his like own design going on and like, there's a lot of patience that had to be
Yeah. Yeah.
practiced. And so this being behind the scenes of all that, it just like it was pretty eye-opening.
On the outside looking in, it looks like it was like a smooth process, but who knows what was going on behind the scenes, you know?
It was pretty
Yeah,
hectic,
very
yeah, for
hectic, right?
sure, for sure, yeah.
um, you guys got Neftafaro.
Right,
You
right,
asked
right,
for the
right, right.
photos. What was that conversation like? Was that through Cheesy or was that more through you? Or who made that even happen?
Dude, oh my gosh, I have so many people to shout out, but okay,
If you
firstly,
got to,
firstly,
go ahead.
yeah, firstly, thank you, Brandon Branciaga. Um, him, and Keezy, I feel like us three, we were like kind of close. We got really close because we worked on this project
Yeah.
together. Brandon was able to somehow connect us to SB, shout out SBZ, and Neff the Pharaoh. And I was just like, no way he's coming through. And so, Brandon was coming through with these heavy hitters. So I was like, on my part, I was like, you know what? Let me like put some of my people on.
Yeah.
So I had Derek. He took a lot of the photos. Derek, I love you. Thank you so much. Um, and I had to put on Case Tea. They were the team. They were vending like their own little
Mhm.
Taiwanese fruit teas.
Yeah.
But Ashley, Kyle, Sabrina, thank you so much. Um, it was just bringing the bay together for real, like the creative space, and I feel like it was just a beautiful thing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It looked like a great like time overall. Like,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I
yeah.
loved how you guys did the photos in like the actual workshop and like
Yeah,
even
yeah, it
like
was all Derek, man. It
yeah,
was all
that
Derek
that
and his
was
vision, bro.
yeah, the vision was great. I
Yeah.
have to say. So good job on the whole team, dude. That was amazing,
Thank you,
amazing.
guys.
As far as like the future, do you want to do more collabs like that, like, or do you want to stay more low key, kind of just
I do want to do more collabs, but seeing as how hectic Haven Court went, and not saying that it didn't turn out well. Like it blew my expectations out of the water. We sold out on like every
yeah,
collab piece. I think for myself and for like my mental health and well-being, I would maybe further down the line, maybe like 3 to 5 years from
okay,
now,
cool,
I would
cool,
do a project. But I think for now, it's just building the Johnson Leathers brand and building my own design up.
yeah,
Yeah.
great. That's a real answer, man. You're putting yourself first. I think that's a thing. I think people like tend to we live in a world of like instant gratification.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I appreciate the answer because you don't hear that often. You always hear people like, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, trying to do
Mm,
that.
mhm,
So like
mhm,
for
mhm, mhm.
me to hear, I want to take my time, definitely like let things happen. That's real. That's a
Yeah.
real answer.
Yeah.
So let's talk more about you, Vince. How do you stay inspired and like innovative with the work that you do? It could be anything, bro, from like meditation to watching some show, like whatever you
Dude,
do. Like, is there anything that keeps you motivated and innovative?
honestly, I love clothing. I love fashion so much. On my free time, I'm just scrolling Grailed, Buyee, like Essence. I would say I'm always like tapped in and
Yeah.
always like ready to create. I would say designing though, I need it's a need to fill the void. And so a void in my
Jesus.
closet, I would say,
Oh,
in
okay.
terms of
I
no,
was like,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what
no,
I was about to
nothing
say.
crazy like
That
that,
was
bro.
dark, bro.
Yeah. Nah, it's so for this jacket, this Neptune bomber jacket. I was missing a leather bomber jacket, and so I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna design it. I
Mm.
was missing um, a motorcycle jacket, so I designed that. I was missing a crop leather jacket, so I designed that. So it was just so more so filling the void. I guess is just what's keeping me inspired.
Yeah.
Um, and what inspires my designs? Um, I watch a lot of fashion YouTubers,
Mhm.
and what they had to say, I really take into account in terms of like being very mindful of like who I'm creating these designs for. And so ultimately, the things I design are for me. And if people want to buy it, sure, you know,
Yeah, yeah, of
yeah,
course. How would you describe your personal style, and how has it evolved over time? I think you mentioned like it started with like kind of like
sneakers, right?
sneakers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I've had so many phases, man. So it started out with sneakers, like purely just like, okay, I got the Roshis and I'll wear like some joggers and then like an H&M bomber jacket, you know. That was mad like
We've all been
2015.
there. I feel
Yeah.
like everybody who's into like the fashion now, we all started at like sneakers, H&M. I mean, I don't blame anybody. Like, I don't like. Let's face our truths here. Like,
Yeah, yeah, let's be real. Let's be real. We all want to foams and like we want to wear joggers with foams and stuff like that. But no, it really started with like I said, sneakers, and then the whole like Kanye West, Jerry
oh,
Lorenzo,
dude,
Fear
yeah,
of God effect.
yeah.
Um, excuse me. And then from that transitioned to like minimalism. So I would wear common projects with like wool coats, be a little more
Mhm.
preppy, and then menswear, and then it slowly transitioned into thrifting, and then it. I don't know, and I am where I am today. I'm wearing, I look kind of emo right now. I got my hair down. I got like all black on. So if I were to describe my style right now, I would say it's a mix of definitely um, punk aesthetic with like a little bit of avant-garde. I kind of cringe at myself for using that term, but it's it's what it
It's
is,
what it is, you know? Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, it's this is a funny question because I do this all the time.
Right.
I tend to heal my inner, like, teenager self
Oh
by,
Jesus.
like, buying pieces that I wanted as, like, a 13-year-old.
Uh-huh.
Do you ever catch yourself doing that? Where you're like, you're probably not gonna wear it, but you wanna buy it just because you're like, "I couldn't get it back then." I catch myself doing that all the time. I don't know if that's the same for you.
So my recent trip to Japan. Oh man. I went to a babe store in Harajuku,
Uh-huh.
and I was just like looking at their inventory, and I'm like, man, I always wanted the babe jacket. Like
Yeah.
like literally since the beginning of time.
Mhm.
And so, I wasn't too impressed with what they had in stock. And so I went online and I saw this like Japan exclusive. It's called like the Japanese dragon tattoo zip up.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, dude, I need this. This is so dope. And so I went on a mission to try to find that thing
Yeah.
because I was asking sales associates at Harajuku, Ginza,
Uh-huh.
Shinjuku. Like I was going all over the
Yeah.
place to try to find this thing. And I finally got it. I wore it a few times. Um, I plan on wearing it more, but it's just the babe piece is
Yeah.
for sure
Yeah.
one of those things that my inner child and even me today can appreciate.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, for me, it was like, it's not even like a crazy sneaker or whatever. It was like the Burgundy fives. Like I
Oh
wanted
my
the
gosh, bro.
like I
Yeah.
wanted those so bad in middle school, and I was just like, yeah. But I finally got them. I barely wear them. You know, it's just
Do
like,
you keep them in like a container?
dude, they're probably still sitting on shelves today, bro.
Okay,
Like it's
okay,
nothing crazy, you know.
okay.
And I think they're going for below retail on StockX, bro. Look,
It's the
it's
nostalgia
a
that gets
nostalgia
you.
thing,
Yeah.
dude. It's for sure a nostalgia thing. Yeah, so I guess going back to yourself here, if you weren't working in leather or fashion, what would you be doing? What do you think you would be doing?
I would probably be working in an office or a lab
Yeah.
and using those funds to fuel my fashion.
Mhm.
Um, on the side, I do make shorts, and I like, do try to market and promote that
Yeah,
here and
yeah,
there. So I feel like if I were working like a corporate or like a lab job, I would start actually my own brand because I've always had that like itch, of making
yeah,
things that I want, but selling it to other people.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any hobbies or interests outside of, everything you do that maybe inspire your creativity?
I'm a pretty boring person, dude, I would say. I like hanging out with friends. I like going out. I like eating, just all the basic stuff. I hobbies. I like shopping, I guess.
There you go. There
I
you
like
go.
yeah, yeah. Window shopping nowadays, trying to
Yeah.
save money, but I
Okay.
really I really just do love fashion, bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can tell. It's your passion.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's real. You're not
Mhm.
gonna lie and be like, "Oh,
I'm not trying to be super deep or anything, like, "Oh, yeah, I go fishing or I go kayaking, I go snowboarding." No,
Yeah,
I'm just a kid from the Bay Area who loves
you're
fashion,
true to it.
truly,
You're
yeah,
true to what you do.
yeah,
So that's cool. That's really cool to hear, man. So let's get to some reflection here. If you
sure.
could design a piece for anyone, like past or present, you might have to think about this. Who would it be?
Honestly, I think I would design something for Johnson Tam. And so Johnson Tam, he's the Johnson of Johnson Leathers.
Mhm,
He was a tailor who moved from Hong Kong to San Francisco
mhm.
and just started this amazing leather brand. Unfortunately, he passed away 2 weeks before I started working, so I never got to meet him. And sometimes I feel guilty that I'm like, shoot, man, if I had just started earlier, I started to put some blame on myself for things I couldn't
No.
control.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I would like to design something for him. I would like him to critique what I have to offer.
yeah, yeah.
I love criticism. I'm always open to it. I don't really have an ego when I'm designing, especially because I'm so new to this. I love learning.
Mhm.
So, yeah, yeah, Johnson Tam, rest in peace.
Yeah,
I
rest
would
in peace. Rest in peace.
definitely like to make something for you.
Damn. You hear that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Looking back on your career so far, like, what are you most proud of?
I would definitely say the Haven Court Johnson Leathers pop up.
Yeah,
It was so amazing and inspiring to see so many people show out for that. Like you mentioned earlier, we had a line. It was crazy. It was crazy. We had a line out the door, wrap around the corner in the rain too. So the fact that so many people
damn.
were willing to show up
In
and
the
show
rain.
us love and to they didn't have to cop anything. It's literally just showing up and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
Making that type of noise in the Bay Area, especially because I'm so new to this fashion game. I had no connections. I had no nothing before Johnson Leathers. I'm almost 2 years in now, but like I mentioned earlier, I was barely a year in when
Yeah.
that pop up happened,
Mhm.
and yeah, it's crazy to look back at.
Wow, okay.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I was to throw something and I see hella people, I'll be fucking happy as hell too,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Soon though. We'll see, maybe
It was
soon.
very fulfilling, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah, for sure.
My parents came through, and
Oh, shit.
dude, like I have this whole thing where joining fashion, it's such an iffy career field,
Mhm.
and so for them to come through and see what like I've been working on for the past like 6 7 months,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
okay, we did this collab, I helped organize this, rounded up all my friends to volunteer and shit like that. Sorry for the
You're
swearing,
good, you're
but
good.
but just seeing my creation, my organized event come to life, and for the people who I want so badly to be proud of me, to see
To see
that,
that.
it's like, wow, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it must be that's a great feeling,
Yeah.
I think, especially when 'cause, it's hard sometimes to get support from parents, especially if you're doing something creative.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like for them, it's like, "Ah,
Especially minority parents, they're always
yeah."
like lawyer, doctor, like
This
get a
dude.
safe,
Yeah, yeah, that's what happens, man. So I think, yeah, with this generation especially, we're here to like show. that you can do stuff
There's
that's
a
really
lot of
creative.
young creatives for
Yeah, for
sure.
sure. So we are first place. This is first place. So I'm gonna start to
Right.
ask you some first place questions.
Okay,
Okay,
okay.
okay. If you could have a dream three-car garage, what would those three be?
Don't hate me for this.
Okay.
You know, as a I wouldn't call myself a car guy, but you're definitely a car guy. People watching this are car people. Number one, Tesla Model S Plaid, bro. You okay? I seen those things on the street, and they're kind of wide.
Yeah, they're wide for
I
sure.
love wide like cars with wide hips. You know, that's like the best way I could describe it. Like an M3. If you look at it from
Yeah.
behind, those things are you know the side panels are fucking thick, and it would be a cool family car too. You know,
It would
something I
be,
could
yeah.
race in. It's comfortable. It's quiet. It's
Yeah, yeah.
fast as hell.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's my number one. Number two is a Lotus Exige 2011.
Okay.
The only reason I'm so specific is because I have a Hot Wheels model of that car, and I think I seen one in real life at a car meet,
Yeah,
and I was like, dude, this thing is clean. It's small. It seems super zippy.
yeah.
Um, so that's my number two. My number three is probably gonna be like a JZX Chaser, something that I could throw like a BN sports
Okay.
like bot. I really like boxy cars.
Yeah,
And no shade to like the Euro scene, but I really like boxy JDM cars.
yeah,
And so I think like a JZX or a Chaser or even like an IS
yeah.
would look super clean, just like
Dope.
yeah, with a body kit.
No, that's a solid 3.
Yeah,
It's a solid 3. I think
yeah.
it's a realistic 3 too.
I'm not gonna say McLaren or Lambo or anything. I feel like not that I'm factoring into my own personal budget like right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
I just feel like I gotta keep the dream realistic, you
Yeah, of
know?
course, no.
Yeah.
Did you play any racing games growing up?
You know, to be honest, I played like Midnight Club
Dude.
and what is the other one? Need for Speed Underground. Those
Yeah,
are like two that I played on my friend's Xbox. I didn't
yeah.
even have any
Mhm.
consoles growing up, so yeah.
Damn. When you're driving, what are you usually listening to? If you're cutting up in traffic, what are you slapping?
Dude, I can't even cut up anymore because maybe you get this with your car, but it's like a police magnet.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I've gotten so many tickets, and so I try to limit my like the I try to limit listening to music that makes me want to go like drive
Mhm.
crazy. Usually though, I'm listening to Korean R&B, K-pop, or some like R&B, some
Yeah,
really chill,
yeah,
really
yeah.
I like cruising a lot,
Okay, cool.
so I guess that would fit
That would
my
fit.
my
That
mood.
would fit. That would fit.
Yeah,
Why do you deserve to be in first place?
I feel like I deserve to be in first place because through this journey, I've learned to truly express who I am, and I'm also very proud of where I come from.
Yeah,
I'm always repping the Bay.
yeah.
I feel like I'm one of the players in the Bay Area culture, in terms of like style, in terms of like um, just the scene, you know. And I'm trying to put the Bay Area on. I feel like it's been watered down since the tech movement. Whenever people outside of California think of the Bay, now it's
Tech,
just like tech.
tech.
It's expensive housing.
Yeah,
Whereas before, I want to say like 10, maybe 15 years ago, it was like, oh, the epicenter of like culture and music and like
yeah,
just being cool, you know.
yeah,
Now it's kind of corny and watered down.
yeah,
So through my self expression, through like content making and stuff like that, I hope to kind of spearhead a movement with Bay Area creators and Bay Area natives,
Mhm.
just to put the Bay Area back on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. That's a really great answer. So to end it off, one more thing. Fit shed. What are you rocking
Food
today? What are
check.
you
Okay,
rocking? What are you
sure,
rocking?
sure. So I have Guidi for the footwear. Pants are from Troubled Waters, Taiwanese brand. Leather jacket. Come on, Johnson Leathers. And top is Takahiro Miyashita, the soloist. I got some Goros jewelry right here. Um, water bottle from my my girlfriend's brother Tim. Shout out to Tim. That's the fit
There
breakdown.
you go, there you go.
Yeah,
Shit, I'm rocking some cowboy boots, some
I was
vintage
peeping
ones,
those, bro.
cowboy boots, just some black Dickies, board low,
Shout out Brandon.
Brandon for
Yeah,
the T,
shout out
and
Brandon.
then this like CDG home, uh, like doctor's jacket. It's like
Dude,
I
it
feel
looks like a painter's like almost.
yeah,
Yeah, that thing was
it's
cool.
definitely so it's light fit, just chill fit today.
Yeah,
Didn't
chill
go too
fit.
crazy,
Yeah.
but yeah. So that is it, everybody. First of all, thank you, Vince, for stopping by today. If there's anything you want to say, maybe shout out your Instagram or whatever.
Hmm.
Feel free to look at that camera. But
Sure. My Instagram is I miss Vince. I like to create content. I like to do goofy stuff, and that's pretty much it. Shout out Renee. Shout out First Place. Thank you for having me.
oh yeah, well, thank you for stopping by,
Yeah,
Vince.
appreciate you.